Hello everyone and welcome to the 5th lesson in the Android Development Fundamentals series, and this one we're going to be going over how to interact with views in your application. And I'm actually really excited for this lesson here because this is where we get to see the magic of the user experience come into play, where you're actually developing an experience for the user to partake in, and this lesson here is going to show you how to get started on doing that. So it's going to be super fun, but specifically we're going to talk about 3 things once again. First, how do we reference the views that we have in XML in our Java code so that we can then work with it. And then we're going to understand listeners and how we can work with listeners to react to input from the user. And then finally, we're just going to create a simple user experience for our application and understand the workflow behind doing that in Android. So the first thing I want to do is referencing views in XML. Now if we jump into Eclipse here, we'll see that I've created a really simple XML layout here with a whole bunch of views. So I've done the easy part for us, but I now want to jump into Java and get some references to all these views here. So in order to do this, I need to know what I'm looking for in the XML. And if we jump into the raw XML here, we'll see we have an image view, a text view, an edit text view, and a button. So we're gonna need one variable for each of these views here. So image view, text view. Let's do that first. All we have to do is make a variable here. And then we'll hit Control-Shift-O to import the appropriate class. It imports the image view class from android.app. And we'll do the same for the text view. Of course, they don't have to be class variables. It's just a simple standard way to do it this way. And we also have a button. I believe the name of that button, or the text on that button, was reply. Yes, it was. So we'll call it reply. We don't have to call it reply, but it just helps us remember which button this Java reference is pointing to. And then we also have the edit text at the bottom of the screen. We'll just call it ET for now. And again, Control-Shift-O to do our imports. Now we have objects referring to, well, they're not referring to anything right now. They're simply placeholders. So we need to make sure that they refer to the correct XML components. So in order to do that, we have to assign them to those XML components. So we'll say image gets image view, and the convenience method for this is called find view by ID, and we'll say r.id.imageview1. I know that I'm supposed to reference image view 1 because, well, it's the only image view we have, and if we go into the XML, we'll see that the ID is image view 1. We also have text view 2, edit text 1, button 1. These IDs are all generated for us when we made the views. And you'll also note that I'm casting to image view here, and that's because this method is find view by ID. It returns a view, which is the parent class of an image view. So we need to tell the system we need to tell Java this is an image view so that the association can work correctly. And we'll do the same for the text view. Text gets text view, find view by ID, and we've got text view 2, and then this is actually called text, and we'll do the same for the button. Find view by ID, and it gets a little repetitive. It's just the initial boilerplate stuff we have to do just to get running here. And find view by ID and edit text 1. Okay, great. So we now have Java references to each of the views that we're interested in, which are contained inside this main.xml file here. All of these. And it's important that we do this after we've set the content view, otherwise there won't be any content to reference when we're using find view by ID. But now that we have these, I want to I want to react to when the user interacts with these views. So in order to design these experiences for the user, we first need to understand what the application is trying to do. And in this example, all I'm trying to do is have the user have a simple conversation with this little Android guy up here. So the Android's asking, what is your name? The user's going to type their name in this edit text field down here and then hit reply to tell the Android their name. So the only components that they're interacting with is this edit text view and this button here. But since the Android operating system handles the edit text for us already with the keyboard popping up, we only need to really handle the listening for input on the reply button itself. So we'll go ahead and make a click listener for reply right now. So in order to react to input on a view, there's this method called setOnClickListener, and we'll make a new onClickListener. We're just telling the system I want to react to clicks on this view by calling this onClick method. Like Control-Shift-O to import, we want view.onClickListener. Now we've told the system we want to execute this onClick method. What do we want to do? Well, right now let's just do a simple toast. So let's take advantage of this factory method here. We're just going to toast something to make sure that we've hooked the click listener incorrectly, and we'll just say clicked duration. We'll do short, and then we will show that toast. So when we run the application now, we'll see that when we click on the button as a user, we'll get that toast notification pop up, and we'll find that we've correctly established a simple interaction with the button. So there we go, and we get the clicked toast popping up. But that's not what we really want to do. This was just to test the functionality of the click listener. So we'll comment this out for now, and what we do want to do is, in the emulator here, when the user types their name as a response, we want the text view representing what the Android is saying here to update to address the user and welcome them by using their name. So we know we have to modify this text in some way, so let's go ahead and make a private method to do that now. I mean, we can modify the text without this method, but I want to encapsulate it for reasons which I'll explain in just a moment. We'll call it modify text string new text, and inside here we're just going to call set text. Oh, sorry, we're going to say text reference our text view set text. That's the method we have to update the text of a text view. And you'll see that we pass in a character sequence. We can actually just pass in a string and it will work fine. But I first want to concatenate the text with quotes on either side, just to imply that the Android is saying something. So what do we want to set the text to becomes the question. Well, we want to set the text to be the extract from the text, from the edit text when the user inputs their name. So we'll say modify text, and what we want to put here is et, which refers to our edit text view, dot get text. That returns an editable, so we'll call toString on that as well. And then you'll see in our application, when we run it again, we get the user's name, or whatever the user types in the edit text field will become the complete text of the text view that's right next to the Android logo. So here we are, and I'll type a simple response here, hello, and when we hit reply, this gets updated to say hello. So we'll personalize this a little bit more now. Let's change it to, let's say, welcome to the application, comma, space, and then it will take the edit text value and put it there. So this is if the user is going to be inputting their name. We'll assume that now. And then afterwards, what we also want to do is we want to set the text in the edit text field. So et.setText, we want to set that to the null string just so that we can erase the text that the user inputs here so that they can input something else if they would like. So let's run it once more. And we'll see that the user is now able to have a very basic conversation with the Android logo here. So I'll type my name in here, click reply, and it says, welcome to the application, Mark. So at this point, we've taken a input from the user in many different ways. We've taken text input and just touch input, and we've translated those actions into actions within our application. So we've changed the views and manipulated them around a little bit based on user input, which is exactly what Android applications do. And this is probably the most amazing part of Android applications. When you're designing them, you get to see an application form based on just some simple code you've developed yourself. But I kind of walked everyone through this now, and you're probably wondering, well, how do I know what all these methods are, all these set text, all this set on click listener methods? How will I know how to reference them going forward when I don't have a tutorial? And to do that, just go to developer.android.com and search for the view that you're trying to manipulate, and you'll see a comprehensive list of all of the methods you have to work in manipulating that view. So that's all I have for now, folks. In summary, we've went over how to link the XML views to views in our Java code so that we can manipulate them accordingly. Then we've actually gone and manipulated them using click listeners and other convenience methods located inside the views themselves, and then created a simple user experience for our application by interacting with their views and manipulating them according to user input. So thank you again for watching. Our next lesson is going to be on Android intents. So far we've been over quite a few components of Android application development, the most important ones being activities and views, and now we're going to understand how to switch between activities, and we'll also have some other uses of intents that I'll throw into that one there. But once again, thank you for watching. I really appreciate the feedback I've received so far. If you want to leave additional feedback, please feel free to do so in the comments below. And if you like what you see in these videos and you want to be updated every Tuesday and Thursday when I release a new one, feel free to subscribe. But that's it for now, everyone. Take care, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.